You got a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of an inch what it's like to be black in this country. Feels pretty shitty, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Do you know why we're here? It's because our demographic, primarily white men who this land was designed to benefit, didn't stand up with people of color, with our black brothers and sisters, with the Native Americans, with minorities, because it didn't affect them.
Finally, the majority are having a hint of what it feels to feel like a minority. Let me know what you think in the comment section down below.
I don't want to see one more white creator clutch their pearls or tell me how they're horrified or how they want to leave the country and how you're having a mental breakdown and how it's too much to handle about what's happening in this country. I don't want to hear a goddamn thing about it. I truly don't. You got a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of an inch what it's like to be black in this country. Feels pretty shitty, doesn't it? Yeah, it does. Do you know why we're here? It's because our demographic, primarily white men who this land was designed to benefit, didn't stand up with people of color, with our black brothers and sisters, with the Native Americans, with minorities, because it didn't affect them. That's why we're here. There is the class war, eat the rich, yes. This is about the original sin of this country. Make America white again, because that's what they want. Last night I was on a live, and this lady was just heartbroken. She's like, I don't know, like we had, 75 years of progress, and it's all being taken away. And I asked a question, and I think it's the right question. Was it progress? Or was it just suppressed? I would argue the latter, because it sure feels like this racism is like a reservoir, and it's a body of water behind a dam, and it's been dying to push out. And that's what this Klan leader is in the White House. He is that outlet for the dam. He unleashed it. It was there. Our neighbors, our friends, our family, they were always racist. He just said, hey, little Billy, hey, it's okay. Don't hide anymore. Take off your white hoods. Don't hide your face. Do it in public. Who were they going after? They're racially profiling people. DEI, CRT, equality, Charlie Kirk, the white supremacist. Hey, if the pilot's black, do I know that they're qualified? Has he ever said that about a white pilot? Of course not. Who did they pick? The most unqualified, bumbling idiot. A convicted felon, caused an insurrection, cheats on his wives, sexual abuse. But hey, you know what? He's white. So when you see a lot of these evangelicals, because I see a lot of them in my family, middle-aged white, praise Jesus, praise Jesus. Yeah, you think Jesus wants a man like this? You think he's a great reflection? No. I'm going to tell you why they support him. Because they view, when you hear the phrase nuclear family or traditional family values or Christian nation, when was this a Christian nation again? I'm sorry, because I haven't heard one thing. It was founded by founding fathers that owned slaves. They owned goddamn black people like cattle. Yeah, praise Jesus, right? Black people were worth 3/5 of a person. Praise Jesus. Only 21-year-old white men had rights in this country. Praise Jesus. Such a Christian nation. Every atrocity in this country and across the world has been done by a person with religion who has weaponized religion to push the white supremacy. That's it. Look at the Catholic Church. How many young men have been affected? And none of you Catholics stood up. You still go to church and give your tithes while they pay out billions of dollars in civil lawsuits because it didn't affect you, so you don't give a damn. Look at the Baptist Church. Decades they covered up the mistreatment of women. It's gross. And you still went to church and praise Jesus. Look at all the pastors right now that are being arrested for doing inappropriate things with people underage. Praise Jesus, right? But then you hear Bishop Boudet. Kindness, compassion, empathy. Nope, we don't want that. That's right, because you want to make America white again. You want Leave It to Beaver. You want a white kid in a white ice cream shop sitting next to a white cop being served by a white ice cream server. That's what you want. And for all of you middle-aged white people, you are scared to hell that that's going away. And when you hear Fox News They have posted 244 pieces about trans people since February. Nothing about gun violence, nothing about universal health care, nothing about giving people a living wage, actual policies that would make people's lives better. Because it questions their version of the traditional family. And when you hear that, let me be very clear what traditional family values means. It means white America. That's what it means. They want to put the 10 Commandments in Texas. They want to put Bibles in Tennessee. I'm a person of faith, and I have no right, zero, to push my religion or my faith on you. That's what free will is. See, and those white Christian nationalists, those white supremacists, they don't want free will. They want to push their religious ideology on you because they actually believe this is a Christian nation, because they don't want to take 2 seconds to realize that we are a third world country, that we've never been a great nation for everybody. And that's done through indoctrination, right? You're born in American flag diapers, and you wake up every morning and you eat your freedom Wheaties and you do the Pledge of Allegiance, best country in the whole universe ever by not even a close measure. Then you feed your pet bald eagle and you go to work and you polish the Constitution and you have 800 trillion American flags. America, America, yeehaw, America first. But see, you don't give a damn about the people that the flag represents. You just care that your version of what America was lied to you, that you went the Truman Show, because that's what this is. You were told it was great, and it's not. Right now, the way that we're acting, we're a shithole country. And a lot of people that are white don't want to hear that. Why don't you go ask black people if they think it was great? Why don't you go ask some Native Americans if it was great for them? Because this was their land. Why don't you go ask the Hawaiians when it was great for them? Because we stole their land. We took the land from Mexico. Hell, we took black people from Africa because us white people were too goddamn lazy to do the jobs ourselves. And for all of you people demonizing immigrants, I don't see your lazy asses out in the field doing the jobs. Why is that? Because you just didn't want non-white people here. But Paul, I want them here legally. Great, let's talk about that. These people have been here for 30, 40 years. The system is screwed up, yes. But you know what? They're not criminals. They pay their bills. They pay their taxes. They have a house. They own businesses. But you voted for a white man who's a convicted felon, who caused an insurrection, who makes fun of disabled people, who's so pitiful that he cheats on his wives, all 3 of them. 25 women he's assaulted. The guy wears orange makeup and diapers. If that's your guy, because he represents one thing, make America white again. And for a lot of you men, it's the toxic masculinity, right? You just can't admit that you've been lied to your whole life, that America has never been great for everybody. Sure, take out the bad parts. Take out Jim Crow and slavery and the unaliving of Native Americans and segregation and Black Wall Street. Sure, just take out the bad parts and just take the fraction where it's benefited white people. If we don't address this, and if people like me don't speak up like this, whether we like it or not, this is our mess. We created this. Think of it this way, and I'll leave you with this thought. I build a house, okay? This house is brand new. A black family moves into it, okay? Great, it's wonderful. It starts to get cracks in the walls and the ceilings, and it sags. They come in, they look at it, and they find out that the foundation is broken, okay? That it wasn't poured correctly. It wasn't meant to hold the weight of that house. It was designed poorly. Is it up to the homeowner to fix that house? No. It's up to the person that built the house. Us, white men, the only demographic that has never been oppressed, the demographic that it was designed to support. Whether I like it or not, I have privilege. I don't want it, but I have it. So we have 2 options, people. We can hide behind it and clutch our pearls and bitch and whine and say, oh my gosh, it's so bad. Or we can use it to stand up and do the right thing and to tear down the patriarchy. Because white supremacy, right now, the one good thing that came out of Harris losing was that now we're forced to address the ugliness in the darkness in this country, which is white supremacy. Which path are you going to choose? How is history going to remember you?
Donald Trump's relationship with his followers is a highly unusual, enmeshed, incestuous, parasocial nightmare. The reason why I know that their response to the Epstein files debacle is going to evolve over time is because their whole world revolves around him. And much like in a toxic relationship where someone's world revolves around an abusive partner, they're eventually going to come to a crossroads and have two options. One, you see the evidence before you and realize that you're being done wrong and they're playing in your face and you can choose to leave. Or you realize that for whatever reason, you don't have the capacity to leave that relationship right now. And the only way to survive is by convincing yourself that the evidence that you saw is incorrect and you're overanalyzing the situation and your partner isn't actually toxic and abusive. And let's be real, a lot of times, and a lot of us have done this before, you run right out of somebody's arms that's abusive and right into the arms of somebody else that does the exact same thing to you. So I have no faith that if they turn away from Donald Trump, that they are turning away from the ethos of MAGA. This isn't changing their worldview at all. For example, someone like Benny Johnson, who is one of the most disgusting advocates for MAGA ideology, travels to the Florida camp, parks outside, and celebrates on social media, and yet a week later he's going, I have skepticism for what Donald Trump is doing with the Epstein files and I think he's wrong. And remember, these are the same people that are still celebrating the camp in Florida housing pregnant women and children at some point. They're not different people. They just have a problem with being lied to. I've made videos about Trump supporters turning away from Trump, but ultimately I've come to the conclusion that I really don't think it's going to make that big of a difference in the end because, one, he's going to continue doing whatever he wants because he has total immunity, so it doesn't really matter anyway who supports him and who doesn't anymore, and he realizes that. That's why the mask is starting to come off. And the second thing is that MAGA are who they are to the core. Not a whole lot of what's going on right now with the Epstein files is going to change who they are at the core. They voted for somebody who knew was an adjudicated. They're not going to change it. They're just mad they're being lied to. And they're just mad that they don't get to throw Democrats in jail for being on that list. They're not mad about anything else. So let's just go ahead and lay that out on the table.
They don't care about women. MAGA don't care about the kids. This isn't some moment where we magically agree on something. If MAGA actually cared about women, the E. Jean Carroll verdict would have been enough. If they cared about the kids, his literal admission to watching teen models get dressed would have been enough. The way he treats his daughter, that would have been enough. How can you look at pictures of Trump and Epstein being best buds and still defend his lies? It makes no sense. How many people have to lose themselves before you get off your knees? He's a dirty, rotten creep. I mean, even if we lived in some magical fairy tale land where he didn't crash the economy, and he did end those wars that he said he would, and he did actually round up all the criminals that he said he would, and he didn't rob Medicaid to line his own pockets. Even if we lived in that magical fairy tale land, there would still be a mountain of evidence that proves he is a sexual predator. I don't get it, because even if you remove Jeffrey Epstein from the equation, Donald Trump is still a convicted sleazeball. He's preyed on numerous women and children, like double digits. Trying to avoid a Donald Trump sex scandal is like trying to dodge raindrops. You just can't. You can't. How can you hear these stories and still defend him? Rich old guy victimizes young girls, then intimidates them into keeping quiet. Are you serious right now? These maggots don't care about the victims. They would have said something a long time ago if they did. They don't care. They just want to be right. That's all they care about. Even though we're falling off a cliff, they still have room in their hearts for the predator in chief. Look at me, Donnie. I got my knee pads on. You ready to get gobbled? You got any boots I can lick? What do we blame Joe Biden for today?
I've shared before when I went down the QAnon rabbit hole for about 6 months in 2016. I got myself out of it. What MAGA's going through right now with Donald Trump not releasing the Epstein files, and now he's just demeaning people who want to stay focused on it, is nothing short of mental torture. We all have to recognize where MAGA's mindset is right now. When they were pulled into these online conspiracies back in 2016, they were pulled into Epstein's world, Epstein's island, through visuals, through music, all sorts of detailed stories implicating very deviant Democrats, including Biden, including the Clintons, okay? These were all made up by conspiracists who wanted to see Donald Trump win and Russian bots, okay? And they painted Donald Trump as the hero in all of this. And Donald Trump probably enjoyed all of this happening. He knew at some level all these conspiracies were helping him get into the White House. But I'm sure he doesn't know just the mental world that was created in MAGA's minds, okay? It would be like us being raised in a church, listening to a priest and his powerful words about God, and listening to the music of a choir, sitting in service and looking around and seeing all the paintings and icons, just the whole experiential part of it. And then 10 years later being told, oh, it was all a lie. There is no God. This is just all put together to make you feel and believe a certain way. This is what they're going through. This long, drawn-out conspiracy saga that was completely fabricated had the last chapter being the climax of all of this. The last chapter of Donald Trump releasing the files and bringing all of these Democrats to justice. They have been hanging in there for over 8 years for this final explosive chapter, and Donald Trump just pulled that from under them. It's not happening now. There is no final chapter. What they're left with is this horrible vision, this world of Epstein Island, which I'm sure was horrible, but it all being crafted by conspiracists who made Democrats the bad guys and Donald Trump the hero. Nothing makes sense anymore. This is mental anguish, what they're going through. I hope they figure it out.